19 minutes and 20 seconds later.
3 hours later.
Night later.
1 hour later.
5 seconds later. 5 seconds later again. 5 seconds later 2 against. 5 seconds later 3 against. 5 seconds later 4 against. 5 seconds later 5 against. Later. 1 second later. 1 minute later. 1 minute later. At night.
1 hour later.
1 minute later. 30 seconds later. 15 minutes later. 15 seconds later. 2 seconds later. 1 second later. 5 seconds later. And 5 seconds later. 1 second later again. Doctor later. Please stand by.
1 minute later.
1 minute later again. Later. Please stand by. Doctor later. Doctor later. Doctor later. Doctor later. Warning later. 1 minute later. 1 minute later. 5 seconds later. 5 seconds later again. 5 seconds later 2 against. 5 seconds later 3 against.
At night.
1 minute later again.
Later.
1 minute later again.
Bit later.
Bit later again. Bit later 2 against. Bit later 3 against. Bit later 4 against. Bit later 5 against. 1 second later. 5 seconds later. 5 seconds later again. 5 seconds later 2 against. 5 seconds later 3 against. 5 seconds later 4 against.
5 seconds later.
Green Yellow,
What?
would you please stop imitating me?
I will touch friends love later.
Stop imitating me, turn.
Me too.
Okay? 1 minute later.
Stop imitating Green Yellow.
Me too.